everybody, welcome back to Mixing Music Analog and mixingmusicanalog.com and here on my YouTube channel. And this video we're going to continue on with the mix that we've been working on for the last several weeks. Today we're going to do lead vocals and I'm going to blend those in, and we're going to talk about the lead vocal. We're going to talk about the bus compressor that I'm using. We're going to also talk about a little bit of reverb and delay and how I'm kind of using that with plugins and routing it out to the board. So that's what we're going to do today. But before we get to that, if you like what you see in this video and you dig hybrid mixing and you want to learn all things about setting up a hybrid studio with analog gear and all that kind of stuff, please hit that subscribe button and also hit the notification bell so you know when I post new content. I really do appreciate your support. So let's move first over here over to Studio One and let's check out what we got going on. So working on this mix here again, this song is Reaching Out for Someone. Let's give you kind of a taste here. I will mute the lead vocal here. Let's just give you kind of a sample of what we're dealing with. Here's the song so far. If you haven't seen the last few videos where we mix drums, bass, acoustic electric guitar, and keyboards, go back and watch the videos in the playlist. In the mixing demonstration playlist, you'll see all of those videos. Here we go. Let's give a little sample and then we'll start working on this lead vocal. Here's what we got so far without the vocals in. Okay, so that's what we got so far. So that's our instrumentation. I think it sounds really good. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think. We've been working on this. This is the first mix I'm doing on this console, and we're kind of doing it live. So we're going to continue to improve on this as we go. So now if we jump on here into Studio One here, let's talk about our lead vocal here. So the first things first, let's get our Plugin Alliance channel strip on here, and let's work with that. That's what we've been using all along, is we've been using the SSL Plugin Alliance 4000E for our compression in the box because we don't have dynamics on the board, and the only hardware compression we're using is bus compression right now. Oh, we have a compressor on the insert of this vocal channel. We'll talk about that in a few seconds, but let's set this up how we would typically set it up. So we're going to do kind of a fast release. We're going to just do, again, 2-to-1 ratio because we're going to do some other compression here in a moment. I'm just going to kind of touch it just a little bit. We're not going to hit it too hard. We'll do all the EQ, all the high pass filtering on in the bus. So let's solo up this vocal so you guys could hear it. Let's give it a solo, and here is our lead vocal.
And then I feel a little strange. Yes, a little strange. It's true. Sometimes late at night I feel it sneaking in. Can't chase it out with TV or the news. I get tired of walking the line.
Okay, so we're just going to compress about 3 dB. We're doing a 2-to-1 ratio. We're doing a slow attack here and a fast release. We're going to do a little bit of a faster attack when we get to the hardware, just to kind of, again, keep things kind of sounding cohesive with the SSL channel strip across all of the tracks and do a light amount of compression. Now, some people have asked me, well, do you really need to do that? Can't you just go to the EQ on the board and hit it with a bus compressor? Well, sure you can. Or hit it with a compressor on the channel as well as a bus compressor. Of course you can. Do I really need to use this compressor? No, don't really need to use it. I'm just experimenting with it to see certain tracks. Maybe I'll use the bus compressor or use the plug-in compressor in conjunction with hardware. Sometimes we won't, but that's what I'm happening to be doing here. Again, you could do anything you really want, right? I mean, there's no rules, there's just guidelines here. So again, it's not changing we're not changing, you know, the face of modern music here just by putting on a plugin, but just so, you know, if you have that curiosity, yeah, you're right, you don't have to. So there's our plugin. So now, from there, we're gonna come over here, let's get a little bit of EQ happening, and then we'll bring it into the track. I'll solo this up so you can get an idea of what the EQ sounds like here.
I'm reaching out for someone. I'm reaching out for you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I'm reaching out for someone. I'm reaching out for you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hey! Every now and then I feel a little strange. Yes, a little strange. It's true. Sometimes late at night I feel it sneaking in. I can't chase it out with TV.
Okay, so what we're doing there is we're doing a little bit of a high pass filter around 90 hertz or low cut filter. We're using a little bit of top end at around maybe 9K, a few dB, a little bit of a boost at like 1K, about 3 or 4 dB to get it to cut through a little bit more, and taking a little bit of woofiness out at about 450. That's what we're doing. You can hear it without, and then I'll bring the EQ in. Here's without.
Or the news. I get tired of walking the line.
Now let's hear it in the track, because that's really what matters.
I'm reaching out for someone. I'm reaching out for you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I'm reaching out for someone. I'm reaching out for you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hey!
Okay, great. So now, from there, we're on this channel, I've inserted a compressor. So we have the Black Lion Audio Bluey, the Chris Lord Alge emulation of his #1 Blue Stripe that's been replicated by Black Lion Audio. Really, really wonderful piece. We'll be doing a full review on that specific piece in the future. By the time you watch this video, it may already be there. So go check the archive there and see if it's actually there. But love the 1176. Now, as I said earlier, and as I said in the prior videos, drums, bass, guitars, the only hardware compression we're using is on the bus. On the lead vocal, this is a direct insert here. So we've inserted it right here, and there's an insert bypass button. Okay, so the way I have the Black Lion Audio set, and you'll probably see an image on the screen if you haven't seen one already, I'll show you kind of the settings. I've kind of found what I feel is like the sweet spot of the compressor using, to be honest, Chris Lord Alge's kind of go-to settings that I've kind of found in the manual. And then the way he does it, and I'm practicing this for the first time, I think it's a good concept with hardware, is trying to be able to find the sweet spot of the hardware and then not touching the settings, and how much compression you get or how less amount of compression you have is all done from the preamp on the board. So if you want more compression, once you find the settings that you like, you dial in more on the preamp on the board to hit it harder. If you want less compression, you dial it down a little bit. That sounds like a pretty good concept, and it also keeps you from having to worry about recall on the compressors and on all the different hardware. Again, I don't know if you could do that on everything, but I'm going to try that out because to me that sounded like that was a pretty good idea. So that's what we're doing here. So we have the Bluey on here, and I could show you tell you the settings if you can't really see them. I know on camera it's a little difficult to see the settings, but let me wheel over there and share with you what exactly the settings are. So our input is set at 30. Our output is set at 18, around 2 o'clock. Fast, release, and our attack is somewhere around 9 o'clock. 100% mix as far as the wet-dry mix, so we're getting 100% of the compressed signal. So here's what we have, and we're getting about, I'd say about 7 to 10 dB of compression, which is where I feel that this compressor really sounds awesome. So let's play this back. I'll insert it here and let's listen to it.
Every now and then I feel a little strange. Yes, a little strange. It's true. Sometimes late at night I feel it sneaking in. I can't chase it out with TV or the news.
Okay, so we're getting about 10 dB of compression. I turned down the preamp just a little bit, not to hit it as hard. And let's pull it in and out and let's see what it does here, and then we'll bring it into the track. So right now it's in, I'll take it away. You'll see, I'll start with it out actually, and then I'll bring it in, and then I'll take it out. Okay, so we'll start with it out of the circuit.
I get tired of walking the line. I'm reaching out for someone. I'm reaching out for you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I'm reaching out for someone. I'm reaching out for you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hey!
Okay, so I adjusted the output just a little bit, turned it up a little to try to level match it because I turned down the signal going into it via the preamp. So again, we're getting some pretty good compression. I like the way it gives it a little bit of raspiness, a little bit of crisp on that vocal, and it also pulls it forward a little bit more. Let's listen to that again in solo. We'll start with it out of the circuit. Here we're out.
Every now and then I feel a little strange. Yes, a little strange. It's true. Sometimes late at night I feel it sneaking in.
So it really kind of tightens it up a little bit and pushes it a little bit forward. I like the way that sounds. Let's listen to it in the track and let's see what it sounds like here.
Every now and then I feel a little strange. Yes, a little strange. It's true. Sometimes late at night I feel it sneaking in. I can't chase it out with TV or the news. I get tired of walking the line. I'm reaching out for someone. I'm reaching out for you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I'm reaching out for someone. I'm reaching out for you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Sounds wonderful. Again, we're compressing an awful lot here, but we don't get a real breathing, pumping thing. It just sounds like it squeezes it really, really nice. I really like the Bluey. I'm just getting used to it. It's only the first few times I've actually used it, but I'm really kind of digging it. So that's our lead vocal kind of compressed and EQ'd. Now let's talk a little bit about reverbs and delays and what we're doing. So currently, as you're watching this video, or actually as I'm recording this video, I should say, I don't have any hardware reverbs and delays. It's all being done in the box and being routed out to the board. That'll be changing soon, depending on when you're watching this video. You may have already seen other videos on this channel where we've demonstrated some hardware units for reverb and delay, but as of right now, that's how it's being done. So the way I have that done is I've added, since the last video that I did, I've added an additional Apollo X16 where it gave me an additional 16 in, 16 out. So now we have 32, 48 in, 48 out is what we have on this rig. And what I've done is I've routed through that that last Apollo 16, I've routed all the effects, reverbs, delays, and our parallel compression, which we'll talk about in the next couple of videos, to the short faders in the first two banks on the board. So if we look in here in Studio One, what I've done is I've created, next to our lead vocal, a lead vocal reverb. And on that reverb, I'm using the CLA Epic by Waves, which I really love. Great plugin. I've just picked a preset, a vocal preset, and tweaked it. It's one of the few plugins that I've used where the presets, you almost don't even need to touch them. They sound great. Anyway, the output of that is going to what I'm calling effects 4. And again, if I show you the input and the outputs here in Studio One, just so you guys can see the I/O. If I look at the outputs here, we have 3 X16s, okay? So the last X16, or the last interface, we are using, if we have effects 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we have 2 parallel compressions. So I have, I think it's effects 4 is coming out of the Apollo, okay? Effects 4, and that is being routed to the 4th group of stereo faders, short faders on the board. So let's take a look at that. So if we come on over here to this camera, okay, we have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. So here is, right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Here is our reverb, our 2 reverbs left and right, stereo, of that CLA Epic. And so we can blend in the reverb, or the reverb delay plugin, into the lead vocal. Let me show you. So let's solo up our vocal. Let's play this back. Okay, that's the CLA Epic. Let me bring that back up on the screen here. Okay, so I just picked a preset and kind of tweaked it. It's really a delay into a reverb. So we're actually using, a tape delay, a little bit of a slapback delay, and also the wide crowd delay, and that is going into a plate reverb and a room reverb, okay? And then just kind of tweak the taste. We have the mix on 100% wet because we want these faders to not have any of the dry signal, just the wet signal, and then you blend it in. And this is being routed to the actual mix bus, just like the lead vocal is, right? So we have this being routed to the bus, or to the mix, to the main bus output of the SSL. So when you print your print track back in, the effect will be baked on.
Every now and then I feel a little strain.
Perfect. Now let's do it in the track and let's blend it into taste. Here we go.
Every now and then I feel a little strange. Yes, a little strange. It's true. Sometimes late at night I feel it sneaking in. I can't chase it out with TV or the news. I get tired of walking the line. I'm reaching out for someone. I'm reaching out for you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I'm reaching out for someone.
So the way I like to do reverbs and delays, for the most part on vocals, I like them to be more felt than heard. To me, if it's real obvious that the reverb is in play, it's too much. And if you can't hear it, it's not enough. And so getting this just right is, something you got to kind of work with. Now, again, it's on 2 faders. One's panned hard left, one pans hard right, because it's a stereo coming in. And that's how you do it. And it really is a great way to do it. So because now I have the right amount of I/O, I can have up to 8 stereo groups or 8 stereo pairs of effects or parallel compression or other audio tracks or whatever, but we're using it pretty much for effect returns. And so the key to this is that you want to make sure that your plugin, your reverb plugin, is at 100% wet. You don't want any of the dry signal in there, or I guess you can. There's no rules here, but that's typically how I would set this up. And then I'm sending the lead vocal to this track, and then that track is going out to effects 4, and that's how it works.
Reaching out for you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hey!
And then I can mute the track in Studio One here. I can mute the effects track to take it away so I could hear before and after. Or on the board, if you hit the inserts button, that will also cut the reverb in and out as well. Okay, but I'm going to do it here in the DAW, which is easier. So this way we could hear what it sounds like with and without. So just watch the mute button. Okay, and there you go. So that's how I'm doing the reverb and delays on the lead vocal. And we'll go back and do the other instruments as well. I'll show that to you in a separate video, but I figured we want to hear the vocal with a little bit of verb on it. So now let's quickly go over to maybe some background vocals, and then we'll end this video here. So our background vocals here, again, we got pretty much just in the choruses. So let's take a listen to those two here. Background vocals are going to be here. We'll solo them up. We got 3 background vocal tracks that are being routed to a background vocal group, and then that's coming out to the board here. Okay, now we can hear the effect of the reverb from the lead vocal there because I have those faders up. So right now I'll just pop those in. So there's our background vocals. Let's put up our SSL channel strip again, get a little bit of compression. I don't have any bus compression or anything yet for the background vocal bus. All the compression is being done in the box. We will remedy that situation not too long from now. Again, depending on when you're watching this video, that may already be done. I don't know. So we're going to go with a pretty fast release. We're going to do a little bit more compression here because, as I said, this is the only compression we have outside of the master bus compression on the SSL here. And we're going to hit it with a pretty fast attack here. Let's get some compression happening. Oh, come on now. Okay, now let's blend it into the track. Here we go. Let me just shorten the loop a little bit. Let's blend it in and let's see what we have here. Reaching out for someone, I'm reaching out for you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I'm reaching out for someone, I'm reaching out for you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hey, I'm reaching out for someone, I'm reaching out for you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I'm reaching out for someone, I'm reaching out for you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hey, I'm reaching out for someone, I'm reaching out for you. Can you hear? Okay, so for EQ, we're doing quite a bit of top end here, right around 10K, probably 9 dB. Taking a little bit of woofiness out at about 400 just to get some of that muddiness out, and that really is about it. And we're doing a high pass filter as well. It's probably somewhere around 100 Hertz. So that's where we are now as far as that goes. As far as EQ goes, we've compressed it, we EQ'd it. Now let's get a little bit of effect on that as well. So we can add ourselves another effect channel here. So if I go here and I say add another bus channel, and if I want to change that blue and call this BVG or BGV, verb, and then let's drop the same, let's kind of do the same thing. We'll do another epic, why not? And we'll route this out effects 5 because we can. Solo safe it anyway, and then we'll send it over to effects 5 or background vocal reverb. We'll send this over. We'll keep it post fader. There we go. So that's going to be on the next set of faders here. So we could pull these up a little bit. We'll see what we got. Let's we'll go with the same kind of preset, I suppose. Let's try that. Let's see what we got. Here we go. So let's solo up our backgrounds again. We'll blend this in. Go. So that's how you blend in some effects there. The one thing I noticed about bringing the effects out to the board here and using the short faders, as opposed to when I was doing it all in the box just with the plugin, it seems to me, and again, I'm getting used to this, I know, the way this is also coming into the board, by the way, for your geeky out there people that want to know, is that the way it's coming out of the Apollo, it's not coming in on the preamp because the preamp's already been taken up by the long fader. The long fader and the short fader can't use the preamp at the same time, obviously. So all the audio tracks come into the preamp, so you could take advantage of the drive circuit and the colorization of the preamp. The monitor in is another set of D-sub inputs, and that's where the effects returns are coming. So they're not really hitting the preamp, they're just coming straight in, which is fine. But one thing that I noticed is that you don't have to push these faders up very much. The effect comes in very quick, very fast. Where on the plugin, it seems in the box, it's just a different way of doing it. It sounds a little different to me than what I'm used to, not in a bad way or a good way. It's just a little different, and it's just blending and feathering these things in are a little bit more, what's the word? It takes a little bit more finesse, I feel, maybe because I'm brand new at it, on the board than just doing it on the screen with a plugin. But I like the way it sounds, and it's a really good way to be able to use, you know, whatever kind of delays and effects and modulation and reverbs I want to use in the box without having to have a rack of effect hardware units. However, there will be a point where we'll have some hardware reverbs just to compare the difference, and I'll do some videos on that as well. So that is a look and a listen to our lead vocals and our background vocals. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for joining me. Again, leave comments below. Let me know if there's any specific kind of videos that you guys want to see. I'd be happy to try to make them for you. Let me know how you're enjoying the series so far, and let me know how you work with reverbs and delays in your session, especially if you're using some kind of a mixer, even if it's not a full inline console. Maybe you have a short mixer, you have surface control, you may be doing it all with plugins, maybe you have a hybrid rig where you're using some outboard reverbs and delays, even though you're mixing in the box. I'd love to know. Leave comments below. And again, like, share, and subscribe. It really does help me. I so appreciate your support. And until the next video, I've been Dave with Mixing Music Analog and mixingmusicanalog.com. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you guys next week. Take care, everybody.